Ballistic experts have failed to link any of the guns presented to the courts on the killings at Isili. There is a lot to say. I know I know some people will say, oh, pesa imepeanwa sijui nini nini. There is a lot to say. But the purpose of this recording is I, as an expert, or I think I'm an expert, I, as an expert, would want to talk to a layman. I assume that I'm talking to somebody who is a layman in that field, and I'm an expert in this field. Just before I even start this topic, I usually have this challenge. Usually have challenge from various fronts. One challenge is that we have experts like me, some, in fact, many more experienced than me. But you see, when we experts start exchanging ideas, or if I start reasoning at that technical level, you'll find that less than 5% will know what we are talking about. Kindly, Mr. Expert, allow me to use a simplified way to talk to a layman. And also, Mr. Expert, uh, please allow the layman to get a small idea of what is happening. I want to state here that if we were to stay in one place as experts, I would count to be the least expert. The only difference between me and my fellow experts, especially experts who are more known than, who know the subject more than I, is that they are not coming out. And Mr. Expert, if you're not coming out, don't correct me from my channel. Open your channel, talk it. You are even free to start a channel for experts. We talk on expert level. But this one is made on assumption that I, with my little knowledge, I'm talking to a few people who have no knowledge at all, and I'm trying to raise them up. There is also another challenge whereby people who know what I'm talking about, either themselves, because some of these things happened when I was not present, either they themselves did it, or they know, or they are connected to people who did it, and may try to bring out issues which may cloud whatever we are talking, or may even annoy me to an extent that affects my judgment or whatever. So please, if you are an expert like me, or in many cases you are an expert more than me, as the target should not be me. The target should be that layman who has no idea of what is happening, and we are using the kind of English that do you know why it was called ordinary level? Do you know why Form 4s are called ordinary level? Of course, from ordinary level, you can go for advanced level, advanced stroke diploma, or you can even go to the university. Ordinary level means an ordinary person, a person who is neither foolish nor an intellectual, somebody who is of ordinary standard of life. So that is the person we are, and you see, this ordinary person, he or she is an ordinary person on this topic. But you may find, like, let's say one is a doctor who can tell you how a human heart looks like, a human's pancreas. I don't know the difference between pancreas and liver, but he can really talk on that. He may want to know something extra more on this field. So please let us give those people a chance. And if you have to contribute to this, let it be in an extension of telling me, okay, here you are wrong, we can correct it this way and whatever. I'm only human, and as I said, the only difference between me and the other experts is I may be on the lower level, but I've come out openly. So if others can ride on that, and we give the ordinary person an opportunity to learn something, then so be it. So there, I'm saying that there is a lot to say. Back now to the topic. There is a lot to say. There is a lot and there's a lot that contradicts each other. We will find there are so many things that are contradicting each other. For example, on one hand, there are the facts. On the other hand, there are the facts. The facts being, in Kenya, we have a law that gives people the freedom of expression. There is freedom of expression. As I may be using that as a freedom of expression, one may come up with a complaint that I'm risking being cited for contempt of court. You see, when you talk about contempt of court, uh, it is a fact because you are not supposed to comment on an ongoing case, and at the same time, we have freedom of expression, which again is there. It appears to contradict the contempt of court, isn't it? And also, there is the right of information. Now, when I exercise the right of informing you, it may also be cited that it is contempt of court. So we find that there are so much contradicting things, but we have to go there. The important thing here is, as I said, is a clean heart for Kenyans at least to get an idea of what is happening. Again, the other contradicting thing is, on one hand, we have a killer cop whom the law does not recognize. You see, he used to kill people, but the law, or can I say he used to kill criminals, suspects. That's why people call him, or people of that type, they are called killer cop. Now, on one hand, we have a killer cop, isn't it? Who almost always, almost single-handedly kept peace in the area. If you sincerely talk to people, any people in Isili or any other such a place, they'll say that such people are good because they would even say that before Ahmed Rashid went to Isili, there used to be a lot of criminal activities, and they would even, it is quite possible for people even to say that after he was arrested, the crime rate has gone up. But then another contradiction, because he's keeping peace, and in the whole world, the most important thing, and that is why the governments are respected. The most important thing is keeping peace. That is why you find places where you can do your is it 24 hours economy. People thrive a lot, other than other areas where after sunset everybody goes to the house. So keeping peace here is important. But then again, we have also to see that there has to be law. As for the boys, they were well-known crooks. They were well-known crooks who even had they dared even to be photographed and shown on social media wearing uniforms. I think that the uniform was of a police officer they had killed. Yeah, I think the uniform was of a police officer they had killed. Now imagine killing a police officer, then running away with his uniform, posting on social media photographs with his uniform, and also on the same picture they are posing with thousands of shillings and whatever. You see, that is the contradiction. Another contradiction is their families. While on one hand, their families acknowledge that they were crooks, but they say they were petty thieves, pickpockets, and whatever. In police terms, we have a section of the police that handles petty crooks. It's called Spiff Squad. Now, according to the parents, this is another contradiction. According to the parents, these are we used to hear that they were crooks, they used to be pockets and whatever, but they were not gangsters. But how is it that they were not gangsters and they had pictures of money? You could even think that that they are bank tellers and in police uniform. But then, on my part, I have to thank the families. I want to personally thank the families for admitting that the boys were crooks. You see, in this case, the families have said that the boys were petty crooks, not gangsters, but petty crooks. They even admitted to sitting down with them and discouraging them from crime. Let me say that that is very bold of them, and I have to thank them. But they downscale their criminality. They downscale their criminality. Why am I saying they downscale the criminality? It is because these are criminals who have even gone to an extent of showing off in social media. All the same, it is a plus since it is almost impossible for families of even Wakinyonga to admit that their kin are criminal. I can tell you, even where you stay and even where I stay, you'll always find that the criminal who is known by everybody, a criminal who is known by everybody, and so on and so forth. This criminal, when arrested or when the police deals with them, uh, they their families will always say that our son was innocent and whatever. So uh, almost you'll find many of the families when they describe their sons who are known in the areas are criminals, you could think that those criminals are seminarians. You'll find that the families would really praise them, but everybody in the village would. I have a relative from my home area. I have a relative from my home area who used to who died in prison. Who died in prison? He was taken to prison and he was sick, and then he was taken to hospital and died. A prisoner in hospital. But even during his funeral, people would talk and say, "Hey, they have killed a very good boy," and what. He was around my age, but people would say, "Hey, so and so has died. Tell your relatives that it is now safe to move at night from the trading center to home." So what I'm trying to say here, including what I've seen with my own family, is that anybody who is even known to be a crook or a robber, always the family will give an impression that that robber or criminal was a seminarian. We also have to admit that even though Ahmed Rashid used extrajudicial way to kill, but the presence brought about peace in the place. Even after killing that, if he would not have been arrested, if he would have stayed on, you'd find people saying that with him around there is peace. So that is the contradiction. Here are crooks who have even killed police officers, but whatever. Um, what do we say? Another question is the extent where tranquility has to be there, but at what cost? You see, we want tranquility. And if you ask anybody in Isili, they'd say they would rather have Ahmed Rashid around because of, and a person, and especially people with business in Isili, they would want him to be around so that they don't get worried. Now to the most important question, or is it an explanation? How can we how can we explain how the CCTV showed Ahmed Rashid shooting somebody, yet the ballistic experts are unable to identify the particular weapon? I think that is the most important question in our today's discussion. I have tried to open the video where he was shown shooting the two. I can't. Up to this time, I haven't opened. If my memory serves me right, and I think I remember the following. I see a detective shooting somebody on the ground. Another detective runs out. No, the detective who is shooting somebody on the ground runs out of bullets. And another detective from somewhere else rushes to him and hands him over a gun to him. He gets a gun from another plainclothes officer. Then he uses the gun that he has just been given by his colleague to shoot the person on the ground. That single act, a lot of people would say a lot of things. And that is where I come in as an expert. The single act of taking over the gun from his colleague may have all the answers. Just that simple. You see, the video just shows the shooting. It doesn't show the last 10 minutes before shooting. It doesn't show the next 10 minutes after shooting. Let me start with the act of him completing his bullets. He has a gun. He has used all the bullets, some shooting in the air, some shooting whatever. He runs out of bullets. Then he looks to one direction. A colleague of his in plain clothes rushes to him, hands over the gun to him. Then so obviously the second gun had been in the hands of someone else who didn't sign for it. Now let us look at it, because I just want to repeat that sentence and explain it in a simplified manner. Obviously, the second gun had been in the hands of someone else who didn't sign for it. Assuming that the second plainclothes officer is the one who signed for the second gun. So the shooter shoots or uses all his ammunitions and completes. Then he looks aside. A colleague of his comes and gives him a gun, and then he uses that gun to shoot. Could you see, we are seeing what do we call? We are seeing the shooter with one gun. We don't know whether that was the seventh gun he used that day. We don't know whether it is even the first one. We only see him using two guns. One is exhausted, then he's given a second one. Could it be that even the first one which we are seeing could have been gotten from a colleague of his? So here I'm trying to say that the act of him using a gun on people, which he did not sign for. And you see, in cases where we have riot or anything, we have police officers from all police stations. Now, is it possible that he may have shot in the air, he might have dispersed the people with the gun, whatever, and then the gun that we are seeing as the first gun in the video could be his fifth, and the fifth one maybe it would be a gun of a police officer from another police station, Makongeni, or is it Central, or is it Nyayo Stadium? So after the operation, the police officer from Nyayo Stadium has been given his gun, and when the guns now go for ballistic and forensic experiments, the guns are found to be not the one which have been used. So that is, I think I've explained myself. So it is possible here that the guns that appear on the CCTV, definitely CCTVs cannot cheat. The guns that the shooter, on which case we can assume it is Ahmed Rashid, the guns that he used, the two may not have been the ones that him or any police officer from his police station used. Now, when when IPOA or any other person or any other or DCI, whatever, were investigating and they wanted the guns, they went to the armory. They went to the armory of which police station is in Isli? Pangani. They went to Pangani. Then checked with the firearm movement register. After checking with the firearm movement register, they found that these are the guns which were given to the police officers who were in Isli. And when they go to the check, they find that these are not the guns which were used to shoot the two people. So ole wao, let me now speak Kiswahili kidogo. Ole wao, the two police officers whose guns appear on the CCTV and they shot those people. Because I want to say here is that supposing somehow those guns are traced and it is done forensic and ballistic test. Although time has gone, but I'm only saying, supposing it happens that way, and your gun is found to be the one that the shooter used it, that is when I use the word ole wako. That one would be a message that I would try to tell serving police officers that it is risky. It is risky. You saw that video. You saw that video where the shooter extends her hand and asks for another gun, and the other one gives the gun. Suppose the person who was handing over the gun had been registered in his name. You see, in law, they will come and take action against. It is very easy to say that the person who killed the person, is the one who signed for the gun, and you are not supposed to give out your gun, because if it does anything, then you will be blamed. This is now where the Kenyan law comes in. Of course, what I want to tell you is that when you are in court, the judges and the magistrate, when they are writing those things and asking questions and looking at you, it is not just the evidence that was being given. There is nothing whatever. I mean, in law, we are told that they rely on two things. They rely on evidence and law, nothing else. Evidence and law. But as they are taking evidence, as they are referring to the law, they look at you. They look at you. And it is quite possible that the judge would come to a conclusion that there are so many police officers around, and the police officers whose gun the shooter used uh, may not necessarily have come from that police station, and so the gun was. So what I'm trying to say here is that I foresee the judgment coming to the conclusion that there is there's most likely that the killer is the suspect, yes, but the gun cannot be found. You see, it has been the judgment can come that he is the most likely person to have killed, but the gun has not been found. So most likely is going to be, consequently, is going to be released. It's going to be released because in Kenyan law, you are supposed to be convicted beyond reasonable doubts. Beyond reasonable doubt. But here are reasonable doubts. Yes, he's the one who shot, but shot with what? Shot with what? Which gun did he use, or something like that? So such a thing is, I predict that is going to be released on questionable. They don't say questionable, but this is what I said when I started, that I'm using a street language. The facts would not have proven, because the facts are supposed to prove that this particular person is the one who killed them, and he killed them using this gun. Don't even think. I know people will start saying judge has been compromised. Others may say the ballistic fellows have been compromised. Others would even say ya nini kunini. But the truth here is the way things are happening is that the prosecution will not be able, the prosecution will be unable to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So he will be released. He is most likely to be, he is most likely to be the killer. Is most likely to be the killer, but not, but the, it will be proved. It will not have reached the threshold. It will not reach the threshold, and if he doesn't reach the thresholds, he will be released. He will be released, and when he's released, I predict that both the guns plus some other gun or guns may similarly be used by cops who didn't sign up for the guns. So those guns may have been from another police station, and that is what has saved him. Although I would tell a serving police officer to be also to be very careful, because in such a way, maybe if the investigations were to extend to other, be wider, if the investigation would have been wider and found that your gun is the one which was used, you'd be in hot soup. But now that it has been found that the bullets, it will be found that the bullets used, and it will be found that the bullets used and the guns used are not the ones that are not the ones that they are not the guns that were used to kill the two. So he will most likely be discharged from the police force. He'll be discharged from the police. I mean, what I'm trying to predict here is that after the court proceedings, he'll be a free man, and he will go back to the National Police Service for redeployment. Once he's taken to the National Police Service, the judge will have said that he is the killer. He is the killer. But and you see, especially cases which are like murder, the threshold is even higher than ordinary theft or something. So it will say that he's most likely the murderer, but he did not reach the threshold. So he'll be released on questionable doubts. I mean, whatever my English, I don't use my English, but I've just said that. And then when is released on that the case did not meet the threshold, that is when he will go to the National Police Service for reinstatement, and he will be reinstated on paper. But then, using the findings of the court, is that you are found to be reasonable. There was a high possibility that you are the one who killed the two, although they didn't find that. So you will be discharged under public interest. He'll be removed from the police under public interest. I always want to reason as an intelligence officer. I do not know if I have succeeded. Since I started this YouTube, I don't know whether I've succeeded in convincing you or anybody else that I am an intelligence officer. Any NIS officer would tell you that we lay down the facts for you to both know and make a decision. We just tell you the facts. Please don't take it. If I say that Rashid will be released, and when he's released, he'll be. Some people come to my inbox, or some even go to the comment sector and say, "So you are supporting a killer?" No, I'm only telling you so that you don't even think that the magistrate or the prosecutor or the ballistic fellow was bribed. No, I'm just giving the facts to you for you to know. And with the intelligence officer, we usually give you the facts. Whatever you do with it, that is up to you. My many viewers tell me, for example, that I'm hoping that Ahmed Rashid be released. No, I don't hope is released. I'm not even hoping that he be jailed. No, I'm only hoping that if he killed somebody, and the law says if you kill somebody, this is what happened. Then if he killed, let him face the music. If he did not kill, let him be released. But if he killed, and he's lucky that circumstances happened that he has to, then the only thing is he should be removed in public interest. Mine is to tell things the way they are. I'm only telling you of the most probable outcomes. And if I say that is the most probable outcome, it does not mean that that is what I want. I'm only an expert telling you the fact. It is considered a plus for an intelligence officer to predict things and they come to happen. It is a plus for an intelligence officer to predict something and they come to happen. Journalists, our nearest relatives, do usually record what is happening now to be forwarded in the next hour, day, or even week. If you read a newspaper, you'll say yesterday's meeting or yesterday as the Wamunyoro was landing at the airport, he confronted people. But we in the intelligence usually say, Wamunyoro is coming tomorrow. He may. So we try to see the possibilities and we tell you the possibilities of it. You saw the president saying that he's a consumer of raw intelligence. What we usually do is we tell the government what is happening and we even give the options. You take this option, this one happens, you take this. So ours is more of a predicting thing. And the more you predict and it happens in our, that is an accolade to us. An intelligence officer is highly regarded if his or her what do you call records correctly predicts what will happen, especially if he or she gives a picture that is not being foreseen. You see, there are occasions when things may happen this way and you predict to say no, 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 it is not going to, not as the way you are seeing, and then you come and say no, the facts are this and this. uh, we get a lot of pride when we talk of something to happen and it so happened. And as I said, I'll repeat for the last time, especially if things happen to be different, everybody predicts that things are going left and you insist it is going to be on right, and it happens exactly the way you are. As my personal opinion is that I am conflicted in this case, because in one hand, I would want Isili or any other place to have peace and tranquility. But then at the same time, we all want law to be followed. But my prediction is he will win the case and be retired in public interest. Hiyo tu.